Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In our last video, we learned about Python lists, how to create them, access them, and perform basic operations like adding, removing, and sorting items. We also explored some real world examples like tracking stock prices, managing inventory, and checking student records to understand how lists make data handling easy and efficient. In this video, we're going to learn another important data structure in Python, that is tuples. Tuples are quite similar to lists. They store multiple items, they are ordered, and they can hold mixed data types. But there's one major difference, that is tuples are immutable, which means once you create them, you can't change their contents. This makes tuples more efficient and ideal for situations where your data shouldn't be modified, like storing configurations, coordinates, and constant datasets. I highly recommend watching this on a bigger screen and coding along with me. That's the best way to learn. If you get stuck anywhere, feel free to drop your questions in the comments below or email me at saket.saketlabs@gmail.com. I'd love to help. And before we jump in, if you are enjoying this Python series, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out any future lessons. It really helps channel grow and keeps me motivated to create more awesome tutorials for you. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so tuples are also used to store multiple items in a single variable, just like lists. So to initialize a empty tuple, we use parentheses. When we don't specify any elements between the parentheses, we initialize a empty tuple. Just like how do we do for list. For list, we specify with the brackets, whereas for the tuples, we use parentheses to initialize the tuple. So if you want to initialize a tuple with few elements in it, we define between the parentheses. For example, here you can see the T2 is a tuple with the elements 1, 2, 3, and 4. For lists, we use brackets instead of the parentheses, whereas for the tuples, we use parentheses. Let me try to run it in an interactive terminal here. So I am going to initialize T with an empty tuple. So if I try to print the type of variable T, you can see it is of class tuple. Similarly, if I want to have some elements inside this tuple, I am going to define it between the parentheses. Now if I try to print T, you can see it has few elements in it. Just like lists, tuple are also ordered. For example, if you have to access any element of the tuple, we just specify the index. Even with the tuples also, the index is 0 based. So if I give T of 0, then it will give the first element of the tuple. So here, if I want to add the duplicates, that is also possible. So as you can see, I can have one multiple times. That doesn't affect the tuple at all. So even just like lists, tuples also support multiple mixed data types. As you can see here, the first element is of a type int, the second element is of type string, third is float, and the fourth element is true. Fourth element is boolean. Also it supports nested elements like this. For example, the first element is int, the second element is tuple again, and the third element here is a list. So if we want to, there is another way how we can initialize a tuple without specifying the parentheses also, the tuple gets initialized. For example, if we see T5 equal to 1, 2, and 3, and if I try to print T5, you can see it has been initialized as a tuple. If I try to print the type of T5, that should also return class tuple. So one more property of tuple is unpacking. Just like how we pack the values into tuple here, we can also unpack it. For example, Now that we have a t5 variable with 1, 2 and 3 value in it, and if I want to initialize x, y and z with the values of tuple, I just have to do it this way. So if I try to print x, you can see the first element got initialized. If I print y, the second element, and if I print z, third element of the tuple t5 got initialized. If we have to concatenate two tuples, we use the plus operator, and we can concatenate two tuples, same as of lists. Let's try that out. Let's assume t1 has 10, 20 and 30. t2 has 30, 40 and 50. If I want to concatenate these two tuples, I just can do t1 plus t2. So here you can see both the tuples got concatenated. And if I have to repeat a tuple just like how we did for a list, we just simply have to do t1 into 2. As you can see, t1 tuple got repeated twice, just like list. But here you can see every operation that we perform on a tuple is resulting a tuple itself. Let me try to try to check the type of returned value. For example, I'll initialize variable val with t1 into 2, and if I try to check the type of val, it will still return a tuple. Any operation that we perform, either concatenation or repetition, will still return a tuple itself. So just like list, tuple also supports membership. For example, if I have to check whether 10 is in tuple t1, I can do this, 10 in t1. So as t1 has 10, it is returning true. The same way I can check whether 100 is in t1, which is not there, hence it will return false. So to check the number of occurrences of an element, we can use count method on variable. For example, if I have to check how many 10s are in the tuple, t1 dot count of 10 gives us 1, because there is only one 10 in a tuple t1. And if you want to find the index of any element, we can do index of 10. As you can see, the first element of the tuple is 10, hence it is returning 0. So all the other methods called length, max, min, sum and sorted, which we used for lists, are also there for tuples. So if you want to check the length of a tuple, we just have to pass tuple into the length method. So as you can see, as the t1 had 3 elements, we get 3 here. And if you want to find the maximum of all the elements in t1, if you supply max of t1, then you can see 30, as 30 is the largest of all the elements in t1. If you want to get the min, which is 10, if you type min of t1, you get 10. And if you want to add all the values in a tuple, we just pass to sum method. And if you want to sort t1, we just pass to sorted method. Since t1 is already sorted, it returns the same. As you can observe here, after sorting, the returned type is list. As you can see here, the returned value has square brackets here, hence the value that is returned from sorted is list. I'll try to initialize variable val with the value from the sorted, and if I want to check the type of val, and if I check the type of val, you can see it is of type list. So the response, the return value that we get from the sorted method is a list. if you want to convert a list to a tuple to list, we can use this list method. For example, as we have a tuple t1 which has value 10, 20 and 30, and if you want to convert this tuple to a list, we just pass it to list method. So now you can see the returned value is list. Just like how we did the typecasting for int, float, string and any other data types, we can also typecast tuples to lists and lists to tuples. And if you want to convert a list to tuple, for example, I have let's say we initialize lst variable lst to a list, and if we try to pass it into a tuple method, you can see it returned a tuple. So we already gone through unpacking. So one more important thing about tuples is immutability. Immutability means it shouldn't let us edit the values in it. For example, if you want to change the values of a list, we just do list of 0 equal to 100. Now if I try to print the value in the list, you can see 10 got replaced with 100. Whereas this operation is not possible for tuples. If I try to do that, we have a t1 as tuple, and if I want to update the second value of a tuple, if I do t1 of 1 as 100, you can see tuple object does not support item assignment. So since the tuple is not letting us edit the values inside it, it is immutable. Whereas list let us to update the values of it. So we call lists as mutable and tuples as immutable. This brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed the learning experience. I recommend watching the video multiple times for the concepts to settle in. If you're watching this on your phone, I highly recommend switching to a laptop and coding along. It will make your learning much more effective. In this session, we dive deep into tuples. We compared with lists to find out how tuples are different from the lists. We explored the common method that tuples and lists support. All the code from this video have been pushed to GitHub, and you can find the repository link in the description below. So feel free to check it out and practice on your own. In the next video, we'll be diving into sets, where we'll learn about properties of sets, what they are used for, and how to create and manipulate them. So don't forget to subscribe, turn on the notification, and leave a like if you found this helpful. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.